Well, just a bit of an update. We're just kind of cooking some dinner. Arlene's using her twig stove and got Mia chilling out on the pad. And Coco is
doing what she does best, sleeping.
Yeah. So we're just cooking some craft dinner for dinner, and so we got a little bit of the fire prep sort of done. We found some deadfall and wound up splitting a little bit for the fire tonight. So yeah, it's looking like a great night. I don't know if you're able to see this, but something they've done this year is throw a bear hang cable across on Joe Lake. I think this is an awesome idea, especially for people that can't really hang a bear bag. They've got a little pulley system up there, but unfortunately some people have gotten it snagged, so I just have my own bear hang and I'll be throwing that up there. This is something I think they ought to be doing for all of the sites in Algonquin. Awesome idea, way to go, Ontario Parks.
The sun's going down and the loons are starting to make some noise. Not sure if you actually heard them calling. They're kind of far off in the distance. But we love sitting by the campfire and listening to them.
Well, I guess this is the time for our best and least favorite part of the day. The best part of the day, I guess, would being here. You know, great sounds of the crickets and the frogs. Got to hear the loons a few times. My least favorite, unfortunately, wound up dumping the canoe. I was trying to get out. I'm unfamiliar with the pack boats, and as I was getting out, she kind of went over sideways on me and wound up pretty wet. Unfortunately, some of my gear got wet, but quickly strung up a tarp or a rope and got everything hung out and dried, so we should be good to go for tomorrow. How about you, Arlene?
So my favorite part of the day is, I would say, just being here in general, being able to do this trip. As I mentioned before, we were really worried that the ice would not even be out and that they were possibly going to delay the opening of Algonquin. So that would be my favorite part, is actually just being able to do this trip. And I agree with Mark, listening to the loons and just sitting in front of the campfire.
Oh, can I add one more? I must say, the lack of bugs.
Awesome. It is only day one and the sun has just gone down, so we may take that back shortly. But so far they're pretty good. So my least favorite, I would just have to say we arrived at the campsite. It was a campsite that we were gonna take. As we were paddling in, it did actually look pretty good. Unfortunately, like Mark said, there was a little spill, so we were staying here regardless after that point. It's a good thing it happened at shore, and it was early enough in the day, so the sun was still quite strong, and it was really hot out, so it helped to dry everything. But my least favorite part was just kind of coming to the campsite and seeing that people had cut down live trees to use in the fire, as well as finding a little bit of garbage here and there, shoes strung up in a tree.
How about the ones that were just laying around?
And the shoes that are just laying around, as well as some beer bottles and cans and stuff that's in the other campfire. So I'd have to say that's probably my least favorite, just people not really respecting nature and packing out everything that they bring in and leaving it the way that they hopefully found it. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I think we're good. Well, there was that mud on the takeout that was a little bit, but you know,
Yeah.
that's to be expected.
Yeah. But so far it turned out to be a good first day. Looking forward to tomorrow. So we have just packed up camp in the rain, which was not forecasted that we were aware of when we left. So it was quite a surprise this morning to wake up to rain. But anyway, we packed up in the rain. It's still quite cloudy and windy out. But we seem to have a break of the rain at this moment. We're just heading over to Burnt Lake. So we made it, and it was an interesting adventure. We are now at the portage to Baby Joe Lake, which is 435 meters. Hello, little birdie. The bird apparently wants to come and canoe with us. Anyway, we were able to skip the 120 meters, I believe, because the water levels were high. But there was a lot of navigating around the crazy bends and river, and some really strong currents at times. But all in all, it was pretty good. The dogs are overjoyed to finally be out of the boat. They weren't doing so well by the end of that paddle. And we're just taking a little break so they can have a little rest. And then we're going to start the portage. It's quite buggy right here, so we're going to move this along. So we have just reached our portage to Burnt Lake. It's about 200 meters. And there's Mark just putting on his yoke and getting ready to carry the boat up. There is quite the steep step up. It's quite interesting. And there's two trails right here, one to Little Doe and one to Burnt. Unfortunately, ours is like flooded. But it just seems to be this little portion, so hopefully the portage won't be too bad. So this is what we are portaging around. Beautiful waterfall. I don't know why we couldn't paddle this. It seems easy. So could have paddled this. This is always the most exciting part of the portage, when you get to the point that you can see the lake. Looks like we have some obstacles to climb first.
So we are on Burnt Island Lake, and it's gorgeous, to say the least. We're trying to paddle closer to the portage, look for a campsite there. But currently the wind on this lake is kicking our ass. It's been a long day of paddling and portaging, and the dogs have pretty much had it. They're tired. They don't want to be in a boat anymore. So needless to say, they are not very happy with us right now. But overall, on a positive note, the sun is finally shining. It's about 1 o'clock, I guess, in the afternoon. So we made it to a campsite that we just decided to pull over on because the wind is just insane. Not bad. We were aiming to get a bit closer to the portage because we have a lot of portaging tomorrow, and then we wanted a day to relax because the next day we're actually there for 2 nights. We wanted to take a day trip into Grassy Bay and such. So we were trying to really limit how much, I guess, paddling we had to do in between all the portages. So tomorrow we just have to paddle straight down there, and the portage is just around the corner there. We were just pulling over here actually just to take a break, but we've decided to set up. It's a nice campsite, so we are going to stay here for the night. And Mark's just stringing a line so we can hang all of our stuff because our tarps and tents and everything are soaking wet from this morning packing up in the rain. And this is where we will be sleeping. Roughly, my tent will go onto the tarp that's just drying out back there. Our fire pit, 2 lovely benches, nice view. The site's kind of windy right now. Hopefully it calms down. Hi, Mark.
Hey, how's it going?
And the dogs are just really tired and thirsty and hungry, so it's time to make a snack for them.